Hello, my name is Kayla, and I wanted to give you a quick little explanation of the difference between a pyramid scheme and a network marketing or direct selling company. So this video was inspired by a sweet lady who I offered her samples today. I like to do that, and she was someone that was sitting down the table from me at a coffee shop, and she was sitting by herself, and I decided to go over there and offer her some skincare samples. Didn't ask her to buy anything, just gave her the samples. And she said no, she didn't want any because her husband won't let her be a part of pyramid schemes. Now, my inner smartass wanted to say, yeah, the government actually doesn't let me be a part of pyramid schemes because they're illegal, but I just said, okay, well, thank you anyway, and I went and sat back down because sometimes I just know that it's not worth arguing about. But it did inspire this video. So I just wanted to kind of give you some basic things that are that show the difference between a network marketing business or direct sales or MLM, however you want to call it, or a pyramid scheme. The first big difference, as my friend Andrea always says, is pyramid schemes are illegal. So they are not going to be a business that the U.S. government approves, which means the people in their business are not going to pay taxes. They're not going to have any of their income taken out for taxes because it would not be a recognized business. The second thing is network marketing and direct sales companies offer a product. A pyramid scheme typically does not offer a product. There were some that have been around that offered a product, but it would be a product at an extreme price, and the distributors would be required to buy those products and then they'd have to buy them at this ridiculous price and try and sell them, and the only way to make money in those was to con other people into buying this ridiculously expensive product that wasn't really a product. Usually it was like, usually it wasn't a product. Usually it was the top of the company would spend X amount of dollars to get into this business, and then the people under them would pay that same amount, and it would keep going down. So it's basically you're just paying to get into this deal where you're going to make money with your money, and that just doesn't even make sense. That's way too good to be true. It'd be like saying you pay $1,000 now and you're going to make $1 million later. But it didn't work because people weren't ever getting that money except for the people at the top. Direct sales is different. When you sign up for a direct sales company, you're paying anywhere from, some of them are as low as like $10, and some of them are up in the 500s. It just depends on what kind of products you're going to sell. It depends on the company. But you're paying for your business. You're paying for the rights to sell the product. Some do have a minimum requirement. The company I'm with does not have a sales requirement, so you are not required, from the time you purchase your kit, you're not required to spend any of your own money. I personally do spend my own money because I use the product, so I do spend my money on the product, but I also am not required to do that, and I also make money by selling the product to my clients. So that's the big difference. Is direct sales, there's actually a product that's being sold, and a pyramid scheme is not. Typically it's a scheme. It's not a real business. Another way you know this, another way you can determine the difference, is the multi-level marketing uses. You do make money by recruiting people into the company. However, those people aren't paying your salary, or they're not paying you directly. That never happens. So let's say I have a friend who loves the products like I do, and I think she'd be really good at selling them. I would tell her about the opportunity, and she has the choice to buy the kit. So she starts at the exact same place I did with the exact same amount of money as I did. She doesn't get to buy herself in at a higher level, and she has to hit the same exact requirements for promotion as I did. Everyone has the same expectations, everything's at the same level, and you move up by both sales and by recruiting. And you're not recruiting people to spend money on the company, you're recruiting people as almost like employees. They're going to be people who are going to be good at selling and going to be sharing the product with other people. So they're not required to put in any money into the company either. So that's just some of the things. And I know I shouldn't let it bother me, but sometimes I do when people call it a pyramid scheme, because like I said, they're illegal, they're unethical, and I'm an ethical person, and I wouldn't ever participate in any illegal activity like that. But I know it's not because they mean it to be rude. I think they just don't know the difference. And I know the generation that I grew up in, we heard the horror stories of people, sorry, I have to turn off the water hose, of people losing a lot of their hard-earned money in these schemes by being told that they were going to get rich fast, just by, you know, pay a lump sum of money now and you're going to make a ton of money in the future. And that's just not the case. And mostly all of those pyramid schemes would promise you that you were going to make money. Any legitimate direct sales company will not promise you that you'll make a profit. And most of them, if an active member of that company is promising you that you're going to make money, that should be reported, because that's unethical. And most of the time, actually I'd say all the time, it's not true. You get paid in a company what you put into it. If you're not working the business, you're not going to make money. So if anyone tells you, you know, join this company and I guarantee you're going to make $500 a month, that's not true. You could make that much. There's a potential to make that much. But if they're promising you that, that's something I would be leery of, because that does sound very schemy to me. So again, I'll just run through those things I talked about real quick, just to keep them on your mind when you're hearing the words pyramid scheme and direct sales and MLM or network marketing. Number one, there's a product to be sold in direct sales. And in addition to that, it's a competitively priced product. Competitive like for the industry. So if it's an astronomically priced item, that's kind of different. There might be, and it might not be a pyramid scheme, but I could see why you would be a little bit hesitant for that. But number one, there's a product. Two, you're not required to pay anything. You're not required to buy the products yourself. It's often encouraged because you only sell what you know. If you don't know the product and you don't use the product, you're not going to be really good at selling it, but it's not required. And three, it's illegal to to be in a pyramid scheme. It's illegal to do those. So I pay taxes on my business, and I get a tax return at the end of the year for the money I spend on my business. I actually get a form in the mail that says how much money I owe or how much money I made in my business. That's a legitimate, the U.S. government sees that as a legitimate business. So if you have any other questions about this topic, please let me know. And just keep it in mind for the future. There are some shady people in the world, and I'm not telling you should believe everything you hear, because you shouldn't, but it's very important to know the difference. Thank you.